Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and completely demystify the language learning process. Look, if you've ever felt totally overwhelmed when trying to speak English, hey, take a deep breath. You are definitely in the right place. Today, we're not just memorizing boring grammar rules. No way. We're breaking down those barriers by giving you a super actionable, step-by-step toolkit. And it's designed specifically to help you conquer that speaking anxiety and actually get real results in your everyday communication.
So, here is our progressive journey for today. First, mastering your self-introduction. Second, building a 15-minute daily routine. Third, tackling real-world role-play scenarios. And finally, practicing with AI tools. Let's get started.
Section 1. Mastering your self-introduction. Getting comfortable with the basics.
Now, you really don't need a complicated script for this, honestly. Just use this simple 6-step framework and you'll sound completely natural. You start with your greeting and your name, right? With genuine enthusiasm. Something like, "Hi, I'm Sarah," or "Hello, my name is David." Then you smoothly transition into your location and your role. Maybe throw in a quick background highlight, state the purpose of the meeting, and, this is absolutely crucial, end with a closing invitation. Ask a question. Pass the conversation right back to them. Following this structure is going to help you sound so organized and confident, and it completely avoids those awkward silent pauses that usually derail introductions.
But when you're introducing yourself, remember that less is definitely more. A classic mistake we see all the time: overloading people with your entire life history. Look, in a professional setting, the person you're speaking with just wants a quick 60 to 90-second professional summary. They don't need a complete wellness update. Also, kind of keep an eye on your verb tenses. Use the present tense for what you're doing right now and the past tense for completed experiences. But honestly, the biggest mistake is simply letting the fear of these tiny errors stop you from speaking in the first place.
Moving on to Section 2. The 15-minute daily routine. Building a sustainable learning habit.
Let's bust the myth that you need hours of study every single day to become fluent. You can easily map out a highly manageable 15-minute routine that fits into literally any schedule. I mean, look at how actionable this is. You start off by just talking to yourself about your plans for 3 minutes, simple warm-up. Then spend a few minutes shadowing a native speaker, really trying to mimic their tone and rhythm. Next, you actively use a few new vocabulary words out loud, answer a spontaneous question for some Q&A, and then do a quick recap of what you just practiced. That's it. No classroom, no expensive tutor, just a focused, daily regimen using your own voice.
So the real secret sauce here is consistency over intensity. Practicing simple things for just 15 minutes a day is so much more effective than trying to cram for 3 hours once a week. Regular, daily practice makes English feel, well, natural in your life, and it builds up your confidence step by step.
All right, Section 3. Real-world role-play scenarios, navigating daily conversations.
This is where we bridge the gap between textbook learning and actual real-world chats. Because, let's face it, memorized scripts just break under pressure. You want to focus on learning natural conversational patterns instead of those awkward literal translations. For example, saying, "I want a coffee" is a direct translation, but in English, it sounds pretty blunt and demanding. Instead, "I'd like a coffee" is the natural, polite way to go. The same thing applies when asking for directions. Don't just abruptly walk up and say, "Where is the cafe?" Always lead with a polite opener like, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the cafe?" Or just noticing the tiny grammar tweaks, like saying, "I have a reservation" instead of "I have reservation." Learning these little chunks of language is a real game changer for sounding authentic.
Now, what if you're role-playing something with higher stakes, like a job interview? Well, rely on the STAR method to structure your professional achievements so you don't sound robotic. Remember how we just talked about memorized answers falling apart? The STAR method, which stands for situation, task, action, and result, gives you a super flexible framework. You just describe the context, what you needed to do, the specific action you took, and then the positive result. It literally keeps your brain right on track, even when the interview nerves kick in.
And, it's absolutely crucial to adapt your formality based on the scenario. You'll want to use appropriate titles like Mr. or Miss for formal business situations. But please, stick to first names and casual phrasing with your friends. I mean, asking a close buddy, "How do you do?" sounds totally bizarre in English. You'd want to say something like, "Hey, what's new?" Shifting your register based on exactly who you're talking to is just a massive step toward true fluency.
Which brings us to Section 4, practicing with AI tools, your 24/7 conversation partner. So what if you don't have a native speaker to practice with? Well, you can literally pause this explainer right now, copy this exact prompt into an AI tool like ChatGPT, and instantly create your own personal language tutor. By setting the AI's role clearly right from the jump, you ensure it acts like a supportive coach rather than just some robotic encyclopedia. It'll actually ask you questions, simulate real-life conversations, and give you a perfectly safe, low-stakes space to make mistakes.
But to get the absolute most out of this, you gotta be specific with your instructions. Tell the AI to provide gentle, clear corrections and alternative phrasing. If you want to sound more natural, tell it to introduce common idioms tied to whatever you're talking about. And definitely don't forget to specify the exact regional dialect, like American or British English, so it doesn't default to something you aren't even targeting. Most importantly, tell it to maintain a continuous, back-and-forth conversational loop so the dialogue actually feels fluid and real.
All right, I'm leaving you with a direct challenge today. Because look, you can't learn to ride a bicycle just by reading the manual, right? You have to actually get on and start pedaling. So, commit to speaking in English for just 5 minutes today using that self-introduction framework we covered earlier. The tools are completely free, and the AI is literally waiting for your prompt right now. Think about it. If you can build this simple 15-minute habit starting today, what doors could your English fluency open for you a year from now? Take that step, embrace the mistakes, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.